In the headlines, it's a race against the clock to raise the needed funds as the Friday deadline approaches to airlift former Prime Minister Patrick John to a French hospital. The state prison appeals to professionals to share their skills with inmates in a rehabilitation effort. And consumers to benefit from cheaper cooking gas and lower electricity bills as the price at the pumps drops. I'm Andrea V with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up. Thank you for staying with us. We begin with this story about Dominica's first Prime Minister, who is to be flown out of the country for medical attention by Friday, the day he's expected to turn 79.
Local efforts to raise funds to pay his medical bills have brought in over $25,000, but much more money will be needed. The problem is Mr. John is running out of time and there is a small window of opportunity which his family don't want to miss. His wife said she was unable to speak with Channel 5 News on her husband's move to the ICU this week, but she agreed to have her spokesperson do the interview on her behalf.
Is he able to speak? Is he able to move around freely? ICU would imply that you're in a critical condition, or is he just in ICU because, as you said, they wanted to give him some more privacy or something? Is that why?
Apart from the privacy, he cannot walk now. He cannot walk. He's very weak. As you know, the heart condition, he has a blocked valve from his heart and a leaking valve. So you don't want to put too much pressure on him. That's why he's at the ICU.
Is he conscious?
He's very conscious, yes.
His situation sounds critical, so that whatever is done has to be done quickly.
That is correct. That's why we ask all of those persons who made their contribution to bring in the money. Because you know sometimes people make pledges and then it's not forthcoming. So as soon as we get all of the money that we're hoping to get, then Patrick Roland John will be flown out of Dominica by the grace of God.
The idea is to send him to Martinique, Guadeloupe?
We are looking at Martinique. We're looking at Martinique.
We know how expensive these hospitals over there can be. What is the situation with funding and so forth? Besides the fundraising effort, the radiothon, is there any other source of support that's coming in?
Well, as we speak, people are still making their contribution. People are still making, apart from the 25,000 that we have in our hand, people are still making their contribution. We are looking at Friday. We are looking at Friday for him to be flown. So that's why we want all of the money so that we can, because you cannot do things without money. You know, if we had the money, he would not be here.
Coppell says government has pledged to assist, but he was not aware whether the Johns had actually received any assistance to date. Speaking to Matt Peltier, Patrick John himself said government had been in contact with his wife, but not with him directly. Patrick John, now 78, led Dominica to political independence in 1978.
Drivers are enjoying the lowest prices in fuel in over 6 years as of Monday. Idona John Baptist reports.
The retail price of gas now stands at $9.85 a gallon, while diesel is $8.72 per gallon. That's a decrease from previous retail prices of $10.18 for gas and $9.20 for diesel.
It's been more than 5 years since we have realized that type of decrease. Even when you go far back as 2010, the price of gasoline was $11.56 in June of 2010. It was $11.56, diesel was $10.82, and kerosene was about $9.44, and that was 5 years ago. So we have to go further than 2010 to find a decrease in the single digits of that magnitude. For commuters, this is very good news.
Kerosene and cooking gas have also decreased. The situation will also result in a drop in electricity bills.
Even for producers too, because the price of diesel has fallen, seeing that we have in place a fuel surcharge, it is right to assume that the price of electricity would also fall to the benefit of both persons at home using electricity and persons who use, energy in their productive exercises.
Fuel prices on the world market have been dropping since about November 2014. This was particularly due to an oversupply of the product.
The Saudi Arabians were, for example, increasing production, increasing output, and therefore that was depressing the price. We look at that, we look at the OPEC meeting that came that passed not too long ago, and the disagreements between the countries that continue to supply the market fully, and those who, as exporting member states, have an interest in looking at their projections for the products that they export, and the downward spiral in the price of fuel as a result of that. I think all that would allow one to be able to make a reasonable assumption that at least for the next 6 months, we would have a price which would be on the lower end of the scale rather than the high end of the scale.
We move on now to the state's prison as it seeks the support of local professionals who can offer skills to inmates as a form of rehabilitation on a pro bono or voluntary basis.
The prison is into its second stage of a rehabilitation program launched by the Caribbean Mail Network Dominica chapter and DOMLEC in June 2015. 15 inmates initially participated in the first phase of the program, where they learned theory and practical skills. 4 of them have finished serving their sentences. Prison Officer Alvin Auguste, responsible for rehabilitation and inmate services, says they plan on following up with the released prisoners.
Now we're going into the second stage, which on release, when the prisoners have been discharged from prison, we go to their communities, speak to their parents to get them back into the community. Actually, we have a monitoring and evaluation team which consists of 2 members of the prison, 2 of Caribbean and 1 of DOMLEC. We got in touch with 3 of them, and they said that they are united with their families, but they still need the support. They're still seeking for a job, and part of this component is to assist them in getting a job also.
Apart from the regular adult education program existing at the prison, inmates are offered the opportunity to enter CXC's Certificate of Secondary Level Competence and Caribbean Vocational Qualification courses. They get to farm, do woodwork and upholstery. Despite this, there are still limitations to effective rehabilitation of inmates.
I'm not totally satisfied because there's much more we can do. Actually, in this Department of Rehabilitation and Inmate Services, is only 2 of us that's in that department. And for us to effectively do what we need to do, we need, let's say, about 5 to 6 prison officers in that department, because it's a real strain. We cannot maybe reach out to all the inmates in a timely manner as to how we would like to reach out to them.
There are 181 male prisoners and 2 females serving time at the Stock Farm State Prison.
We're still asking for anybody who think they could make a contribution towards the rehabilitative effort at the prison. We would welcome them on board. We would welcome whatever gestures or contribution you could make. Just get in touch with the superintendent of prison. I'm looking at maybe people that can come to more facilitate a session, a program. I'm not talking about financial contributions.
The hierarchy of the Dominica Hotel and the Tourism Association supports the Prime Minister's intention to reform waste disposal and stiffen penalties for indiscriminate littering. The DHTA has released a statement applauding Prime Minister Skerritt's recent indication that government would tackle poor environmental practices this year. DHTA President Gregor Nassif told the Channel 5 News the measures the Prime Minister spoke of are in sync with what the DHTA would like for the country's Nature Isle image.
We think Dominica needs to change its approach and to protect the thing that draws tourists to the island. And at the same time, I mean, if we can deal with the issues that affect the experience of the visitors, litter, vagrancy, poor environmental practices, we're also dealing with things that affect the quality of life of all of the citizens.
At a news conference in December, the Prime Minister expressed his intention to introduce new legislation to ban the use of styrofoam and clamp down on littering.
And I feel very passionate about this thing, because when I drive across the country, it really pisses me off to see the way that we keep in our country.
Nassif would like the DHTA to partner with the authorities, including the Solid Waste Management Corporation and Roseau City Council, to ensure these measures are put into effect.
So the agenda needs to be set at the top, and then those who are responsible for implementing have to work as a team. And the violations are across the board. I mean, businesses are not complying with certain things in terms of waste management. Citizens are also not complying. Solid waste is not as effective as it needs to be. The city council is not as effective as it needs to be. So there needs to be a complete change of the way we approach this as a country.
Nassif is also advocating for enforcement of existing litter laws.
Dominica has an issue with enforcement. We have the Small Charges Act. There are laws with regards to noise, the Noise Abatement Act. There are laws with regards to littering, with regards to environmental practices, and we must begin to enforce these laws. So yes, as a first step, we need to adopt an approach of zero tolerance, and we have to start to enforce laws.
Coming up, Dominicans support the cause as they join Haitians celebrating their independence. Welcome back. A Haitian leader here has expressed gratitude to Dominicans for their support for his people living in this country.
President of the International Foundation for the Development of Haitians, Louis Axeus, spoke to Channel 5 News following a mass held at the Fatima Catholic Church in Newtown on the 1st of January. That mass was part of celebrations marking Haitian Independence Day and the Feast of Mary.
I really appreciate Dominican people to support us because one, Dominican people, they have independence. Haitian always stand up with them. Haitian always support them. And today, as I speak, and I can see there are plenty of Dominican people come to celebrate together with us. Or if independence, we always believe together we can build. Together we can make it. I believe we like to work together, as I said already, we like to work together with Dominican people. And Dominican people, they never tired with us.
Haitians fought for and won their independence in 1803, the first country to achieve this feat in the Caribbean. Axeus said it was a special day for Haitians living in Dominica and those around the world. We have a clip from that independence service.
Pour nous fêter l'indépendance que nous te prenons depuis 212 ans, pas vrai? Il y a une indépendance qui te porté vraiment liberté pour nous. Il y a une indépendance qui te porté vraiment une libération qui dit nous pas enchaîner encore ni dans pied nous ni dans main nous. Mais est-ce que nous croyons nous pas enchaîner des fois dans l'esprit nous? Est-ce que vraiment moun qui a gardé nous, yo ba nous respect nous mériter? Et tant que moun, et tant que haïtien, des fois nous devons être fiers pour nous dire nous c'est le premier peuple noir qui prend indépendance dans les Caraïbes là. Nous c'est le premier peuple noir qui lutte pour nous sortir dans l'esclavage.
Calypso fans can look forward to new features this carnival season. That's the word from Davidson The Observer Victor, Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association, when he addressed a press launching recently. Victor says Stardom Calypso Tent will be showcasing innovative features during its run for the 2016 carnival season.
We're going to have a new inclusion this year, Bouillon meets Calypso. I will say no more on that one. Then we're going to have the road march and punch. This road march and punch is going to be a very interesting night, road march and punch, so you know how it is. You drink your rum and then you dance. We're going to be having the sponsors trophy. This went on very well. We introduced it last time. It went on very well. So the patrons asked for it again. The tug of war have been there for 3 years now and has been tremendous. And everybody just tell us to keep it on the program, keep it going. We're going to have the royalty night. That's when we're going to invite all the queens of the different pageantry. Now we're going to have the king of the tent now, the monarch of the tent, that is the final tent, crowned in the moment for us.
Stardom Tent also received a significant donation from its headline sponsor towards its staging for this year.
Digicel is a major supporter of Carnival and the cultural development and is playing a significant role during Carnival to bring the ever-popular Stardom Calypso Tent to Carnival lovers, our customers, and the Dominicans, and by extension, visitors to the Nature Isle. We are very pleased to partner with Stardom Committee once again for yet another exciting year, contributing over 20,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars to help to add the thrill of the 2016 Stardom Calypso Tent.
The Stardom Calypso Tent is scheduled to run every Wednesday night until the first week in February. A year of growth and development is how 2015 is being described by Crime Stoppers Dominica. The program, which seeks to assist authorities in reducing crime, was introduced here in 2012. Crime Stoppers allows individuals to provide tips to the police anonymously.
In the last year, with the increase of crimes that have been happening, more and more people are accessing the numbers that we have. The tip number, it's 1-800-8477-TIPS. They actually believe in the cause.
The Dominican public is being applauded for its growing use of the Crime Stoppers program.
We have seen an increase in calls, so that means it has been effective, right? And what we're hoping to do right now is to get more and more people on board to buy into the idea. I mean, really, why wouldn't you? It's a great cause, and with the increasing crimes that are happening right now, we get a lot of tips. Some of them pan out, but some of them don't. But every tip is important. Even if it's 6 months after, a year after, and you feel more confident, then call, okay? Because sometimes you have a lot of crimes that are unsolved, and you know, even if it's 3 years later, I mean, just that one person, you need a bit of closure. Right, so it really goes a long way.
The institution hopes to reach a wider cross-section of the Dominican population in 2016.
We're planning to head to Grand Bay as well and as Marigot in the near future, next year. And we have been having contests in the schools and them. It's not only talking to the public, but we're intending to go into the schools even more, because I think kids could really help drive the cause home. Crime Stopper wants to get every living single person in Dominica to buy into the program. It's a good thing. We don't want our country to get, for instance, like the others out there. We need to be proactive to prevent us from getting as unsafe as the others. So.
And the Tues5thJan2k16News Primary School has come a step closer in converting its library into a public library for the community. That was the aim of the most recent donation to the Tues5thJan2k16News Primary School. The contribution was made possible through the efforts of a Friends of Dominica group based in Wisconsin.
Our goal, as we said and promised before, is that to grow the library to be a public library, not just for the school, but that adults as well can come and borrow books or for free, and then they can have those books and return them. We continue to grow this program, and we are very thankful that the kids appreciate what we are doing.
The donation, which included other school supplies, will also benefit parents.
Indeed, we at the Tues5thJan2k16News Primary School, we are very thankful, and we know that this donation will go a long way in ensuring that our students are developed holistically. That will certainly help us in our quest as we try to ensure that all our students are literate. And what I like particularly about this presentation is that when I looked through these books, I saw that there are some books that will meet the need of the adults, and that will complement our parenting program, which we started at the school sometime last year.
Bellet says the group's next area of focus is on the health and hygiene of the children.
Our next big project towards the end of this year or early next year, God's willing, is to start a healthy program, which the Tues5thJan2k16News Primary School started already with their fish days about a year ago. So next year, our program really is to ensure that every child practice good hygiene practice, and that we're going to be bringing some hygiene products for every child in the school. Every staff in the school will receive toothpastes, toothbrushes, soaps, deodorant, and those kind of stuff, so we can help them grow and learn good hygiene practice and to eat healthy as well.
The first donation of books to the Tues5thJan2k16News Primary School Library was made 6 years ago. That's news, your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. We begin with football. The Dominica Football Association has played its part in contributing to former DFA President Patrick John by committing an undisclosed financial contribution in aid of his recovery from heart complications. This decision was taken at the association's board meeting Monday night.
Well, the DFA had a board meeting last night, and that was part of the agenda that came up in the board meeting. And I think it was supported by every member to make a contribution to Mr. John. So we will make a contribution to his wife as possible, maybe like today. But DFA has taken a position to make a financial contribution to Mr. John in his recovery.
The former Prime Minister has played a pivotal role in the development of football in Dominica.
Well, I think Mr. John was the one, like I say, who introduced us to the FIFA, and FIFA being the world governing body of football. For somebody to take it from where you work at the beginning and take it to FIFA, I think that was the biggest hallmark of Mr. John's stint. I mean, also the goal project, the first goal project, the building. Yes, it was funded by FIFA, but then it was so Mr. John's person that we have this football house at Battersea.
Still in football, the DFA resumes its Division 1 league with 2 matches carded for Wednesday.
Will George Academy will take on East Central at 5 p.m. in the first match of a doubleheader at the Pori playing field in Point Michel, while at 7 p.m. it will be Grand for Young Boys versus Trafalgar Football Club.
Moving on to cricket. The prediction of a rainy third day confirmed as no ball was bowled in what might be a draw in the third test between West Indies and Australia. Constant rainfall forced the day's play to be wasted as wet conditions made it impossible for the players to take the field. With only 68 balls bowled on the second day due to inclement weather conditions and rain also affecting the first day of play, the West Indies team is still on 248 for 7. Craig Brathwaite 85 and Carlos Brathwaite 69. Some rainfall is expected on the fourth day, but not enough to drastically affect the chances of play. Still in Test cricket, the South Africans showed some good resistance against England on the fourth day of their Test match to declare on 627 for 7. Hashim Amla top scored with a double century to be bowled out for 201 with a century of 102 runs coming from Temba Bavuma. Stuart Board took 2 for 94 and Stephen Finn 2 for 132. England in their second innings ended day 4 on 16 without loss. In news from Big Bash cricket, Chris Gayle has been fined $10,000 by the Melbourne Renegades for his comments during an interview with Channel 10 journalist Mel McLaughlin. This happened during Monday night's BBL match in Hobart. The Renegades CEO Stuart Coventry announced the sanction at a press conference in Melbourne on Tuesday afternoon and said that Gayle's fine would be donated to the McGrath Foundation. On Tuesday, other female reporters said they had experienced similar moments with Gayle, including sports reporter Nirali Meadows, who described Gayle as a repeat offender. Following the incident with McLaughlin, Gayle made an apology of sorts at Melbourne Airport on Tuesday, but said he was unable to speak with McLaughlin in person. That's all the time we have for sports. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time.
Your weather report is next.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. Earlier, infrared satellite imagery showed mostly cloudy skies across the islands of the Les Antilles today, with visible satellite imagery showing mainly low-level clouds across the island of Dominica. Radar imagery indicated some shower activity mainly across the central portion of the Les Antilles. Here in Dominica, at the Douglas Charles Airport, just over 3 inches of rainfall was recorded, while the Kinfield station recorded just about 1 inch of rainfall. Scattered showers will continue tonight and into the first half of tomorrow, with a relative improvement expected by tomorrow afternoon. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water, with waves peaking near 8 feet. All users of the sea should continue to exercise caution. For the next 3 days, a relative improvement is expected by Wednesday afternoon, with occasional cloudy skies and scattered showers continuing Thursday and Friday. For the remainder of the Caribbean, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few scattered showers can be expected. On the international cities forecast, clear skies in New York, Caracas and Beijing, some thunderstorm activity in Miami, and mostly cloudy skies in London. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:43 a.m. and set at 5:49 p.m. For additional information, feel free to contact us at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. It's a race against the clock to raise the needed funds as a Friday deadline approaches to airlift former Prime Minister Patrick John to a French hospital. The state prison appeals to professionals to share their skills with inmates in a rehabilitation effort, and consumers to benefit from cheaper cooking gas and lower electricity prices as the price at the pumps drops. Email us at news@marpin2k4.com and watch our past newscasts on our YouTube page. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Andrea Lee. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.